All right, here we go. So, let me change my lighting real quick. It looks a little bit better on the camera. But anyways, hello and welcome to another OpenRCT2 stream. I was originally going to either do both an RCT2 stream and YouTube content today, but instead, because of, well, time limitations, but also mainly I got a new program. I used to just use some generic program for doing YouTube videos back in the day. It was very basic. I used Audacity and then I used something else. I can't remember the name of it, but something very basic. And the quality of the YouTube videos wasn't very good. They were more just um, audio sort of files with some pictures mixed in and stuff. But instead, I'm going to make things a little bit more professional this time around. And I realized I never created an intro for the YouTube channel. I never did a lot of things. And the software that I'm using now, it is still free software, but it's very powerful and I have to kind of learn how to use it. So I'm going to push the YouTube stuff back to next week. Probably as early as Monday, stuff will start going up and they will go up definitely. Stuff will go up at a very quick pace. Um, just trying to get my bearings here because the whole day was sort of flipped upside down. My upload speed is all right. It's saying no frame drops yet, but it should be fine. Anyways, instead I'm going to do Mothball Mountain today. After I'm done streaming, the stream will be about 2-3 hours. After I'm done streaming, I have plans later, but I have a few hours in between where I'm going to work on setting up the YouTube stuff. So this way next week I can start pumping out content and not have to worry about not having everything set up. Probably this weekend I will start recording stuff. The stuff may not go out right away, but it will be on the dock, so I can just upload it next week and sort of pace myself. So the YouTube channel, I don't have a custom link yet because I have, you know, basically 0 subscribers and very low views. But if you just search amusement memorabilia on YouTube, the channel should pop up. The OpenRCT2 streams from Twitch are already, after every single episode, they get uploaded within a day to YouTube. So all of those are already live there. And as I've said before, it's not just going to be RCT2 stuff on the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is going to be both an archive for Twitch, and it's also going to act as sort of content like other YouTubers do, just general stuff, a couple times per week at least. Q&A sessions. Once I get enough support and subscribers, there will be live Q&A, all the stuff that you would typically expect. Twitch will also be used for that. That's all going to depend though on how many people would like show up in chat and a bunch of different factors. I'm not looking for hundreds of subscribers, but I am looking for it so that if I do something live, sort of a Q&A or a different live event, people would show up to it and I would have a few people in chat to interact with. Because OpenRCT2, it's not really that big. I don't pay attention to the stream as much when I'm building the parks. I'm just going along, discussing how I'm accomplishing things and how I'm building the parks. But certainly, for something more interactive, you do need people to follow along and such things. So today, OpenRCT2, I will do all of Mothball Mountain definitely, and then afterwards I will be getting to work on the YouTube. I know I said earlier this week that today would be sort of the first day that I would start uploading unique YouTube content, but I was in a little bit over my head. I should have prepared last night after I was done streaming, but I was watching a hockey game, a couple of them actually, and I do have plans later today. So this weekend I should be pretty freed up, and I'll have a couple of days where I can set everything up, get it the way I want it to work correctly, and I'll jump right into Mothball Mountain now. So a lot of people consider, pause this right off the bat, a lot of people consider Mothball Mountain to be one of the toughest vanilla RCT1 scenarios. And the reason for that, it's not a high guest count. It's 800 guests in 3 years. Mel's World was 1,200 in 3 years. I want to say Millennium Mines was 1,000 in 3 years. So this definitely isn't a high, guest count or anything like that. However, it is a very limited space of land. If you want to compare this to anything, Okay, my stream just went a little bit wacky, but it should be still fine now, hopefully. It is the price I'm paying. I did say this last stream or the one before when I started going on camera. I think it was 2 streams ago now. That the going to a higher quality, going to 1080 pixels as opposed to 720 where I was at before. 720 pixels, I really did not experience many frame drops at all. Oh, that shouldn't be there. 720 pixels, I didn't have any problems, but the quality was very low. I am hoping that Twitch kind of picks up the slack. If my upload speed isn't that good, hopefully it will only affect the live stream. Not to say that I don't want to put good quality out for the live stream, but it should be a very sort of isolated issue, and hopefully the stream will continue to record. So once it goes live on Twitch, it'll be fluid and there will be no problems. But I haven't experienced any of those issues yet, so I think I should be fine. But Mothball Mountain, very small plot of lands. This is a Dinky Park sort of sized land. Dinky Park, of course, is a little bit smaller, but you do have land readily available that you can purchase. Now, this park, I believe, also has that. There is quite a bit of land you can purchase out here, so 800 guests would not be difficult to do, but it is $90 per tile of land. So this is very much like Katie's World, where the land is very expensive to buy. The terrain in this, there's really no flat lands to purchase, so most people end up beating Mothball Mountain with just the base lands. I may expand a little bit depending on money. I don't want to spend all my money on expanding, just to have poor quality land. But if it's something where if I need to fit something in or squeeze something in or boost some more people to the park, it is something that I will have to consider down the line. But for right now, there's pretty much a blank piece of land here that I'm going to start using. It is hilly and terrainy, but I'm going to have to work around it and deal with it. In terms of what's already available, transport rides aren't going to be installed in this scenario just because it is a small piece of land. Um, there is the merry-go-rounds, the haunted house. If I do recall correctly, I believe that this scenario it does rain a little bit more, so indoor rides will be a good thing to use here. Decent collection of coasters right off the bat. There are a few smaller designs which will be good for this park. Obviously, the looping coaster is one that I would like to obtain as well, but I should be good on coasters to start. Only the scrambler. There is a log flume as well, which may be valuable. But a nice thing is I already have all the stalls I need. A couple of food stalls, a drink stall, info kiosk, and restroom, so no research will have to be put into the shops and stalls. So I think it's a good idea. Thrill rides and coasters. That's typically where I would go with most scenarios after getting whatever stall I needed, but thrill rides and coasters will be the main priority early here, just to get some of those smaller flat rides. If the scenario does have the looping coaster, that will be one very advantageous to use because a shuttle loop or two of some sorts within this map will do more good than building like a large custom wooden coaster. So 800 guests in 3 years. There's no entrance fee, so I'm going to open the park right away just to start getting people in. And I'm going to start. So, first things first, getting the information kiosk in and a restroom near the front of the park just so that they're there. Info kiosk, $1 for maps and $5 for umbrellas. Certainly you can charge more for umbrellas, but I always go with 5 and I've never had any issues with the stalls profiting or anything like that. And then as for this path, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sort of create a loop here, a very small one, because this path is going to become very crowded. It is only a 3x3 space, so I'm going to remove a couple of these trees and I'm going to expand it a little bit. And the reasoning for this is I want to put like a carousel in this area, but I also want to fit in a couple of the food and drink stalls as well. So this area will be good for the carousel. How do I want to do this here? I'm gonna have to do this. Well, I could essentially put something in right there too. So the merry-go-round, it's gonna have a. Actually, I'm gonna extend it a little bit just because when it does rain, people will go on this ride. quite a bit. Begin testing it out. 15 rotations, say. Hopefully it generates about $1 or so. Merry-go-rounds. 146, so only $1 per ride. But that's not, you know, anything out of the ordinary per se. A drink stall can go right there. $2 per drinks just to get things going here. And I'll do a burger bar as well. Sort of at the end of this path, maybe. $2 for burgers, just to get things going. I will need a couple of handymen to start, a mechanic, get those down. And I'll also place the benches and bins around the park, so they're there when needed. Benches, bins. In fact, I could put a couple more benches in here because the food stalls are right there with it. Okay. So I'm going to continue building off of this little pathway with gentle rides to start. Gentle rides or thrill rides, that is. The haunted house, everyone knows how I feel about using the haunted house design. However, since it does rain more in this scenario, I do kind of want it to have enough rides that I can use that will still get revenue. So a haunted house. Maybe I'll give this one sort of a rundown type of entrance. I'll see what people pay. I'm going to have to monitor this cost because the haunted house people generally don't want to pay that much to go on these, and I will disable the brakes failure, something I forgot to do. And then there's some more flat land back here for like a scrambler. So this can begin testing, and it's already raining, so the haunted house was a good purchase there. Trying to see how I want to do this path. Always has to rain right when I begin building. So maybe this path will just bridge over, and this one will come back this way. I don't want the queue to be too long, is the problem. 245, so only 2 for the twist. What do I want to name it? I'll just name it Scrambler. You know, it doesn't have to be anything special, and maybe I go a green white for this ride. So a few rides operating, people are already coming into the park. Now's the time that I want to start looking at these coaster types and what I can put in, because I do have $6 grand. I will need to start bringing people, excuse me, into the park very rapidly in a way. And maybe I go with a spinning, no. Mini coaster or spinning coaster here. Certainly these designs are going to be a little bit tougher to pull off. All the entrances seem to be not level with the ground. There are some very cost-effective designs in here, though. I could always buy a little bit of land, but I think I'm going to select another ride. Something like this would fit in very well. Except the path would be way up in the air. I could build this over here. Yeah, this doesn't look so bad. This way, this path can start expanding out this way. It's going to be needed very quickly. Such a small area of land. That over there. Now it's going to be the issue of bringing this one out. This land has to be modified a little bit here. Mutant Mouse is in the way. Looping Roller Coaster is available now, though, so I'm kind of upset I didn't go with the shuttle loop design, knowing that that was going to be the next thing out of this park. But that's okay. It'll work out. So I mean, which way can I go with this path that's not going to interfere with the ride? I guess I got to go out this way. Land's not owned by park. If I'm able to buy it, I'm willing to buy one space of lands just to build this path. Yeah, this is going to be a bit more expensive than I thought because all this land work. I'm going to go out one more. And this should be... Or was it already level? It was. Okay. So the queue line for this, I'm going to build out this way. Built it one too many. Alright, and this one can start testing Mutant Mouse. I'll keep the name the way it is. Go for extract here. Increase the lift speed. And I'll get on building some benches and bins over this way because it is a fairly intense coaster design. Money is going to be a bit harder to come in this scenario if people are, you know... Alright, this ride is going to have to be decreased quite a bit because people aren't going on it. I'm doing fine-ish on money. I think it only lets you take out 15,000. Yeah, so it's another one of those scenarios where it's expensive to buy land. Money is harder to come by with the loan. There is already a decent little park done here. The coaster and the 3 flat rides in operation will help. But the next design will definitely have to be a shuttle loop. And over here, I'm probably going to get creative with the design of the rides because if I build them underground, there's a higher chance that they will become rain rides and people will ride them. So $6 for this ride. Open. The pre-built designs will be used more thoroughly in this scenario as well, just because if I can get something that takes up less space, then it will work out in my favor. Hired people on the haunted house. They are now at $2, so... I'm not paying that much for a park map. Are you kidding me? At $1? Like, I know that they're generally free in most parks, but like charging $1 for something is what I've been doing every single scenario. I guess the guests in this scenario may have a bit of a harder time justifying paying higher costs to go on rides as well, which will really suck for me if that's the case, because money will be harder to come by as well, and I'm really dropping frames still. Why is that? It's whatever. It's already raining again. Wonderful. I mean, I could build a shuttle loop sort of underground, or at least start one design. Go-karts are available. I may use that as a mostly underground design in this map. The shuttle loop will be cheap though, and not take up much space at all. Like it can go right here and I won't have any problems whatsoever, money-wise, to get it open. Alright, so build that in. Build this in. Oh, it's gotta go back one. Shoot. Not enough cash. One more dollar, come on. One more dollar. Alright. Once this opens, money definitely will be more readily available, but I will have to contend with the rain this entire scenario. Shuttle loop, shuttle run. That's what it was called in RCT1. So 4-car trains. I'll give it maybe a wooden style entrance here. $450, that's what I was expecting out of it. By adding a couple of these little trees over here, that will help boost the excitement for it. Just a tad, so that I can continue to charge $450 for it for a while. Okay. I do have another $5,000 to loan, but with the attractions in the park right now, it's certainly, this ride will make money immediately, you know. It's not going to be a problem. And I'm just worried about like the crowding of the park as well. There's a little bit of flat land up here to build a flat ride of sorts if one becomes available. Yeah, there aren't any like square small ones to put in there, but that's another option, just to fill in as much of the land as possible and, you know, not really waste any land at all. You can put a bush like this in there, a couple of them. Help the excitement rating of this ride a little bit as well. People are only gonna, you know, pay $2 really to go on it though. $3 when it first opened, it already didn't make money, and that's why I don't really like using the haunted house design in a lot of the maps, but it is also considered an indoor attraction, so. If I can get them down here, I could build go-karts theoretically entirely within this, and it would also become a rain ride. There is a bit of land over here to use as well for that purpose, for a junior coaster or whatever coaster I want to build in there, and then something can also go on top. The biggest thing here to contend with is the rain rides. Um, I'm going to take out the extra loan already, just so I can advertise the new ride, bring more people into the park. I mean, even with 300 pushing 400 guests at the end of year one, that would be the best case scenario. 800 in 3 years is not tough, but expanding to get to that point will be a bit tougher in this map. This is, as I've said before, generally believed to be one of the hardest maps in the original RCT1. Something like, I think it's Rainbow Valley may be considered harder, or the last scenario, whichever one it is, but yeah. I wish I could have extended this queue a little bit more, but I also don't want the queue times to get too long. That shuttle loop is making good money though. Park hasn't profited at all yet. It's raining again. Wonderful. much for a park map. People are still buying them though, so I'm not too concerned about that right now. And the stalls will start to sell more as time goes on. Maybe I do charge 10 cents for the restroom in this scenario just to make some more money, offset the operating costs. Nobody's buying food yet though, which is unfortunate. All the shops and stalls cost money to operate per hour, much like rides. I think it's 49. Yeah, just like a general flat ride like the merry-go-round or the scrambler. They do have operating costs, which come from paying the person working the stands, and they also do have stock costs. So that's why you don't profit everything off of a specific item. The stock of the stalls and the food that you're selling them does cost money too. So this game takes that into account. It does suck that people won't go on stuff in the rain though. And I should start building again. Now I do have the money. I can build a small go-kart track that goes within this sort of mountain area. This is gonna go way down here. I'll see how this works out. Because if over half of the layout is underground, it is considered a rain ride per se, or a covered ride, I should say, really. Oh, I wanted to turn. And go-kart tracks actually also do generate a bit of money for what they are. So I can have it shoot out here. Underground view on. Oh, it won't let me until I go back underground. This one I'm just going to build this. And I believe this is the block right here. This one's just going to have to be raised a bit. I wanted to have enough cars, though, is also the thing. I'll go right back into the station. Shoot. It will let me on that side. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do this with there. Just to fit it in. On the paths, I'm gonna go in there as well, or at least start in there. Markers on the paths so I can see where it's going. And there's really no nice way in this scenario to kind of build the paths. Just gotta deal with it the way it is. But this should allow me now underground. Let's see here. I want to extend this a bit. It's gonna work. Alright, that's good. And hopefully this will be considered a rain ride. Lap race. $4 should be good enough to start. 9 cars, so pretty average. I don't like the way that that looks there, but it's gonna have to do. People should go on it in the rain. They are, it looks like. Maybe, maybe not. No, they are considering it a rain ride, so that's good. I didn't spend too much money building it either. These in here. I'm gonna need a couple of benches up here. Bins can go on the elevated sections of the path. Okay. Still have a couple of weeks on shuttle runs advertising campaign. But as of right now, there are 3 rides that are indoor rides, and then 3 of them in the park that are not. So at least half of the park will be operating while um, the rain is going on. And this is a higher priced attraction as well. $224. I'll have to charge $2 for it, unfortunately. Unless I bump it up a lap. Let's see how this does now. I guess it's because it's a very flat track and, there isn't much scenery around it, so... But even small figure 8 tracks, I've had, double the excitement rating off of, and they were even smaller than this one. I personally would think it would be pretty cool to have a go-kart track that was, like half underground and then you come out above the water. But the way the game thinks versus the way people in real life think is different at times. That is for sure. I'm gonna have to wait on that to see how it does. But research, pirate ship was developed, so that will be another ride to put in immediately here. And I'm just gonna slide it right up here because saving space as much as possible in this scenario. So here, this land, and I'll come down a block. The exit, the entrance. You know what? This one's gonna go underground as well. There is a method to my madness here. Oh, that's gonna be way down there. Okay, it's gonna stay as is. The next ride I'll build will probably be an indoor sort of attraction. I just don't want the pads to have to go up and down, 10 blocks. I only have 2 blocks of space here to get to the entrance, so... I'll call it like Viking. I used that name earlier, but in one of the earlier scenarios, it is what it is, though. As long as the rain holds off enough. And there's already almost 400 people in the park at the end of year 1 with this very small... I mean, as I see it right now, I've developed probably close to half of the land I have available. This is going to be hard to work with over here because it gets narrower. This is the main plot of land for the next big coaster. One can go below the ground, one can go above it. That should get to 800 guests, but profiting is also going to become an issue. The pads are staying clean right now. The park rating is 8 over 800. It has to be at 600, so it's doing okay for the time being. As long as people are riding the rides, that's the big thing. The haunted house won't be popular in the sun, but, especially in the rain, as long as people will pay to go on it, we'll do just fine. This ride is very popular now in the Wooden Wild Mouse. I typically don't like putting in more than one small coaster design. I'm getting 230 out of this one at least. Typically, I charge even numbers, but there's no reason why I shouldn't be getting more out of that track, you know. I understand that there aren't a lot of ups and downs and it's not very long, but, you know, I've been queuing for ages. I have to be adding a couple of these in here, because there isn't much I can do with this queue line at this point. It's got to be long enough that it fits capacity for when it rains outside, but the ride itself isn't going to make much money. You know, it's going to make about the same amount of money as the haunted house is, the twist is, and it's going to start raining again. Wow. I knew that this scenario, you know, there was quite a bit of rain, but it's been on and off, nonstop. I could fit another coaster in here and two over here. They're going to be shorter, but if I get creative enough with it, something like cheesy mice is a very inexpensive design. Where's the entrance to this? On the other side? It is. But it's going to fit in, you know, nice. Nicely, I should say. I used the same design in Katie's World, um, you know, just because it was very cheap and it's very compact. That is a big thing, and to get another coaster in this park already is going to be a big win in my books. It won't be indoors, but these wooden wild mice are harder to design. They have a lot of requirements to be over the threshold. Like the go-kart track has a very low excitement because it failed to meet probably one of the requirements that the game is looking for. But the wooden wild mouse has 6 requirements that you need to meet, as in like the tallest drop is over X amount, or whatever the case is. So oh, I don't want to go that way. Gonna have to fit in here. That's the only way that it's gonna fit. A couple of benches, a couple of bins up here, and begin testing it out. This one will be a higher profiting attraction, just like the spinning wild mouse, as long as people go on it. The rain is a different story. They won't go on it in the rain. But there's quite a bit lumped in the small park already. And I've just about went through all my money, but with everything that I'm building, except for the go-kart track. The go-kart track will profit, but just not as much as it could have. But the coasters, at least, are all quick profiting attractions, which is what you really need for this scenario. And it's only getting $3. I could have sworn this was like a 6 intensity. Oh no, it was only $3.50, but $3 for a short attraction, you know, a little bit higher capacity because of its length. It's not gonna not make money, and it takes up a little bit of space, so I should advertise it. So cheesy mice, 6 weeks. It's gonna leave me with little money, but it will be well worth it in the end. Over 400 guests at the middle of year 1. Half the land developed is a place that this is probably the best start that I've had, but I've also been strategizing here, you know, exactly what it is I want to do, as opposed to just, you know, building these big coasters that take up the whole thing and they don't make their money back because it's raining all the time in this scenario. So the park's off to a good start. As for queue times, that twist ride is probably, let's see here, queue time 7 minutes only, so not too bad. The go-karts still have the longest queue time, but it's not uber um too much, you know. Anything over 9-10 is when people start to complain. Have these started profiting yet? I guess people are starting to buy this stuff. The restroom, not too many people have used, but it is with the 10-cent fee, it is costing less to operate at the end of the month. And I'm gonna go right for thrill rides again. Because there are a couple designs here. A smaller wooden coaster could go above the land here, whereas, you know, the mini coaster design can go underground, or same with the junior coaster design. The swinging coaster, the mine train, will take up more space. I certainly could build a mine train the scale of a small wooden coaster over here, but not something that I really desire to do. The good thing about having like a longer queue for this ride and this ride is when it starts raining, people will still be queued up for it. So hopefully by the time the rain's gone, the line will have eaten through these people and the rides are still theoretically making money while it is raining for a short time. Whereas the indoor rides will always be making money regardless of the weather. I know I keep going back to that point, but it's all about money in this scenario because it is harder to come by. There are, you know, 450 people in the park, so well over halfway to the goal. People are still coming in, so probably about 500-ish people by the time this advertising campaign's done for what's in the park. And it is starting to make its money back a little bit more and more, so that is good. It's crazy. People say they don't go on stuff in the rain. You will have some people who are diehard, you know, don't care about the weather. They will go to a theme park in the snow and ride rides. They will go in a 90-degree heat. They will go in the rain. They will go in a tornado, and they'll still ride rides and they'll marathon rides over and over. But in this game, it's like, oh, if it's a ride that's outdoors, I don't want to go on it. It does help the haunted house though as well with getting more people in the line. So that ride should be profiting in this map a little bit more than when I built it in the past. I have no ambition in building this design at all. And a car ride would be similar to the go-karts. I mean, the go-karts are making about an equal amount of money as a car ride would make at this point, and it is considered a thrill ride as well, so I don't want to build that. Best value park in the country. Wait a minute. Okay, never mind. It is getting a bit more crowded, but of course the paths will be expanded as more rides are added. It's nothing too terrible, or at least I don't believe it is right now. I'm not paying that much to go on Haunted House. Again, $1.50. Will you spring for that? Like, people are going to pay $1.50 now. I just keep losing more and more money off of this ride. It could have been a $3 attraction. I had to open it at 2. Now it's at $1.50. By the end of this year, it'll probably be down to $1 and then 50 cents. And then, you know, I may have to either renew it or replace it with something else. If a Dodgems becomes available, that would certainly be a higher profiting ride. Because I will be able to charge $3 for a long time for Dodgems as opposed to this, you know. Thrill ride. I should do gentle rides in there as well, just so that if I do get the observation tower or Dodgems, I'll be able to use them and they will be covered rides. And they will make some more money than like the haunted house per se. I may keep it around though just because there are very limited covered rides, quote unquote. In terms of thrill rides, the motion simulator, 3D cinema are covered rides. The 3D cinema though can be very what's the word I'm looking for? It can be very fluctuating as well. When it comes to the price you charge for it, you can get away with $3, $4 off the bat, but then after a while, people only pay $2, $1.50 to go on it. The motion simulator is a bit more consistent with that. It's a $3 ride. It is lower capacity though, so you win some, you lose some. Probably going to get swinging inverter ship. I don't know if the swinging inverter ship is considered an indoor ride because the cabin is mostly enclosed. You know, it has bars on it so rain could still get in. But, you know, people may consider it a covered ride in this game, which that would be a very space and cost effective ride to install as well if that's the next thrill ride that's on the dock. Looking into this area, I will probably build the underground coaster first because it will be lower to the ground, or it will be underground technically, but it will cost less and people will go on it. Whereas a larger coaster I'll save until the end, you know, to bring more people in the park and be more of a major attraction per se. Anything I build though over in this area of the park will have to be smaller, and there is a little bit of room left over for some more flat rides and stuff, but I don't want to build too much too quickly as in other scenarios. I'm doing very well right now with 500 guests already, with the money that I started with, and of course with the size of the park, it is attracting quite a few people for what's in it. And the guest count is still going up, so that is good. I think it's going to end up tapering off though now. It looks like it. Some people are coming, but people will also exit the park just as much as they're coming in at a certain point. have mine have mine theming as well, so those elements could be used to sort of spruce up rides if need be. I mean, the go-kart ride. Park rating's doing good. We're getting 42 only. It is profiting though, so that's not the worst thing in the world. Profiting a decent amount, more so than the typical flat ride would. I should add in some of those TV screens over here as well. As the scrambler can get somewhat long queue times because of how long I had to build the path for this. The staff is handling the park well though, for only having a couple of handymen and a mechanic. It is a smaller park though, and nothing's really broken down yet. So that's keeping my monthly staff costs lower, with all other things considered. Park did profit this month, and one of the months before it also did, so money's building up in the bank. Swinging inverter ship. I probably will install it regardless of, you know, whether it's considered an indoor ride or not. There is room left over in a bunch of places. Just trying to maximize, you know, where I'm building stuff here. And I will have to modify the queue times or the wait times and stuff for this. I'll keep it the generic model name Ranger. This will get increased. Minimum wait, well, wait for full load, maximum wait time 60 seconds. Should get about $4 to start, somewhere in that ballpark. Yep, just as expected. That will open now. This adds another operating ride to the park that can make money, and it was very, very cheap to put in. I never end up liking the way that this park comes out, but that can be credited to the small size of it as well. It's one of those parks that's a thorn in a lot of people's side, playing this game. Maybe I mark it. Rides on a particular ride. What ride do I wanna do this for? Because this is the cheapest advertising campaign. Maybe I do Mutant Mouse. for a few weeks. No, that is the highest revenue ride in the park. I could do... The shuttle loop makes a decent amount of money. Maybe something like Cheesy Mice for a few weeks here. It is a cheap advertising campaign. I want to say I'm making, decent money off of that ride, so it shouldn't hurt its performance too much. One of those mid-tier rides. It's not going to take away from the shuttle loop or the spinning wild mouse, which gets $6 a pop. The haunted house I'm already not making much money on at all. I'm making a decent amount. The merry-go-round, wait for full load, just so I'm getting as much money out of it as possible. Scrambler always has a line. It's not making as much money though, probably because of a longer cycle time, I'd imagine. Working out. General ride will be next. It'll probably be a hedge maze or maybe the observation tower. That would be a nice one to put in. Another indoor quote-unquote attraction. Can't find the bathrooms in my park. I have one right there. It's not hurting the park rating though, so I'm not, too concerned over it at this moment. I obviously don't need to build another one. I've had gigantic parks, Evergreen Gardens only had like two or three restrooms, and I didn't get complaints. And this is a tiny little area. There's one right at the front entrance, and people are complaining about not being able to find it. Well, maybe if they purchased a park map, I guess I could try to see if this will help it. Maybe more people will spring for it if it's like 10 cents cheaper. Theoretically, everyone should be buying a park map, and nearly everyone should be buying an umbrella as well. That is what the stand makes money off of. It seems like I haven't not paying that much for a park map. 80 cents? Like, I want to sell as many as possible. And I'm essentially giving it away, because anything you sell that's under $1 profit for a shop or stall, I have seen people say, oh, well, you're giving it away if you're not making $1 off of it. But I'd have to charge $1.10 to make $1 off of park maps. And if people aren't paying $1 for it, they're not paying 90 cents. Then, what's the sense? Most people are still buying them. But I don't know. Ferris Wheel, not too exciting, but smaller attraction again that I may be able to fit in somewhere near the front of the park, maximizing the space that I have left over for flat rides. It is about time though, end of year 1, to start considering the next coaster. So maybe I do the junior coaster design inside of the mountain here. The station is going to have to go down, like down, 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 down. No, doesn't have to be that long. Won't let me do that. Dude, raise or lower? Are you kidding me? I'm gonna have to go this way out with it. Yeah, that is a challenge what this park is building. I mean, I could just, do it this way, where... Oot. Oh, let me do that. Oh, it won't let me build any lower than that. Okay. So maybe it comes back around this way. And it's not owned by Park. I'm gonna spring for buying the blocks of land that I need for this coaster. A little bit expensive, but oh hey. Still too low. Gotta be on this block right here. So this one has to meet up here. Oh, I like already there? I could do a helix up. That gets me essentially nowhere. Alright. Block breaks. Nope. Or I could do, you know, one of these deals. So it makes it around, and I'm sure of it. Okay, I'm not expecting too good of stats from this, but it is completely underground, so... see how it works out. Not going to be very fast. Not going to be very long. But it may get the job done. Approaching 650 guests at the end of year 1. Please be at least $3. $4.25. All right, that perfect. $4. As much higher intensity than I originally anticipated, but now the challenge is going to be building the pathway up to the surface and make that this works out okay. So if I bump this, oh, that works well actually. That actually works very well. Make wrong button. Now I can take this, connect it over here. This is going to have to get a little bit more creative now over here because I'm contending with the go-kart track. Yeah. So instead, I'm going to go this way. It's going to start going up this way. That ain't too bad. It's not pretty, but it works. Benches over here. Bins. Okay. Get this opened up right away. The name for it, I'm thinking of like an animal that burrows under the grounds, like a mole or a groundhog, so holy moly. Yes. Okay. Run an advertising campaign for this one. So now the park has a good mix of rides that are indoor, outdoor. In terms of this, the observation tower is available, so I'm going to build one of those. I'll build it in here. Say 160-ish feet. How's this? Right, okay, so that's, let's say, do one of these. I went that way. Maybe the abstract for this. White and sky blue, I guess. Orange. I'll do like an orange and a red, I guess. Name, just Sky Tower, something very general. And it should get about $3 or so. Go for lighter blue overall. Should get 3, hopefully, at least dollars. People will ride it in the rain. $282, 0 intensity. $250. Hopefully people will go on and open it before this rain stops. These pads are getting very crowded. That's for sure. Maybe I'll add another food stall in here somewhere, just to have it. Could add it right there. $1.50. How's this ride doing in terms of the queue time? Shouldn't be long because it has 2 trains operating. Granted, it's a very, very weird sort of block system. 240, maybe I'll get away with. Queue time 11 minutes. Gonna have to do. An entertainer to the park, I guess. Another mechanic. And entertainer. He can be a panda, I guess. Next big coaster up there. A gentle ride. Two coasters as well, just to see what else I can research in this one. Why don't you give me a hyper coaster or something crazy huge that will be impossible to install in this map? I could do another shuttle loop over here. Is something I may do. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. There's some kind of like different design and double shuttle loop, triple shuttle loop, or that one's a quadruple shuttle loop actually. That one's raised a lot though. No, I'm gonna end up doing custom one here. So the land right here, I'm gonna bump down 2 blocks. So that the station and all that is flush with the surface or the path that I have existing there. This one, nope, not where I wanted it. It'd be a very messy looking park when it's all said and done. But it's not a park value scenario, so I don't really mind, building a second shuttle loop design of sorts. Maybe this one has on-ride photo section there where it dies down. Not gonna have room there. It's not gonna have a loop in it, but I just want to see how it does, Powered launch. Oh, of course, figures. Go a little bit more with this one. That's aggressive. Wondering what it will. Ah, $5 with the $3 optional on-ride photo. This will become the most profiting ride in the park. I know it's not a boomerang style, but I'm gonna call it boomerang. The colors are okay. May go with a blue here though for the light blue and yellow. Have for abstract entrance. This is a very atypical park. Typically, I would not be building stuff like the way I am, but I just want to get over that hump of, the goal and pass this one, because this is one of the tougher ones to do, and I'm still doing good on space. Another major coaster could fit in here. I have the room for the flat rides and stuff still. And I'll do free rides on this attraction while it's new, because the on-ride photo will help make up for some of that lost. Yeah, I'll add another fountain over here. I really do not like when parks get very compact like this and, very scrunched in almost. But you got to do what you got to do with this scenario. This is definitely one. I know I said in the past that I may revisit some of these that I've completed in the future and really build them up, but this will not be one that I'm revisiting. I could, of course, expand the park and raise a lot of this and build a lot of it new, but with the rain involved in this scenario, I don't really have ambitions to build much more with this. This would be huge profiting though. That ride's doing well too. In terms of profiting, merry-go-round is making the least amount of money, but that is to be expected with the long cycle and is a gentle ride to begin with. The stalls, the information kiosk I pulled a little bit more out of. The restroom is profiting with the 10-cent admission fee, and all the food stands are also profiting, so that is good. Pay a little bit of the loan money. Maybe add another handyman. Only need 2 mechanics still. Excuse me. Okay. Research the maze. Bumper cars would be nice to get, so I'll keep the general rides under research for now, but the next coaster I'm probably going to do is a wooden coaster in this area, taking up the majority of what's left over in the park, and after that, I'm already over 800 guests now at the beginning of the year, so I'm not expecting, unless I have a huge downturn in guests, that this scenario there's going to be an issue with it, sort of. The maze isn't something that I'm going to put in. I don't even know if I'll do a log flume now, because that next coaster is going to take up pretty much what's left over of all the space. I do have a Ferris wheel, but that's I could build one right here, per se, but I'll hold off and see if I need to. And thrill rides, I don't have too many, but all of them are already in the park. Oh, I'm going to do the advertising campaign out for Boomerang. 6 weeks. Keep bringing people into the park. And the only land that I've only purchased like a couple of blocks here and there to fit in something that I needed. So I virtually left all of the land back here that's available for purchase untouched. Oh. Scam caller. I hate those scam calls. Because it's in the situation people always tell me, oh, well, why do you answer your phone when it's a number you don't recognize? Well, when you're in the same boat as me, and, I've applied to 20, 30 jobs plus in the last few months here because I'm looking for work. You're not going to have you're not going to know what number they're calling you from. And yeah, if it's a number from Washington, D.C. or, Los Angeles, wherever, if it's somewhere far away, I know not to answer it because the jobs that I'm calling from, more times than not, are calling from a local phone number. But if it's a local phone number, I don't know if it's one of these jobs getting back to me or if it's, one of these scam callers who are asking me to extend my car warranty. So I have to answer it if it's a local number. And, more times than not, it is just a scammer. And I start cussing them out and, I tell them, lose my number, put me on the do not call list, do not call here again. But I'm worried if I miss a call from a local number, if it is a job, if they don't leave a message. Usually they will, but if they don't leave a message on the answering machine, I may have just missed a call from, a potential lead for a job. And I will say this, I watch a lot of Kiboga on Twitch. I don't watch much on Twitch, but his stream is one that I sort of put a lot of time. I dedicate a lot of time to, catching up and seeing what wacky things he does to the scammers. That's got to be one of the best jobs in the world right there. Streaming, calling scammers, and putting them in goofy situations. And he is a great guy. Um, he does things the right way too. Some people like to delete scammers files and stuff, which it's funny. You see the YouTube videos of them getting information on them and messing up their computers, but it's also a gray area because it's kind of illegal. Of course, scammers are not running illegal operations, business operations, by scamming people out of money and not offering them a service that they are promising to do. But I don't know. The point I'm getting at is it's just as funny, to waste their time and see what scenarios you can put them in and what, wacky things you can make them say. That's good stuff right there. And it was Kit Boga. I didn't know if I was originally going to stream. I know, no, virtually no people are watching these videos, and not too many people are doing the OpenRCT2 on Twitch compared to, new big games that have come out. But I've always played this game. I still have fun playing it. I have much more fun playing this game than a lot of the new games that I've bought that have come out within the last year or two. Still have just as much fun playing through the same scenarios over and over and seeing what different ways I can build them and what techniques work better than others for future gameplay. And there's a lot of scenarios that I've never played before. I've played, most of the original RCT1 scenarios, but RCT2 I've only played a handful and beaten it. And there's a lot that I failed that I just never have gotten to because I'd rather, play the ones that I can always beat. So that's the point of this. I'm gonna push myself, see if I can beat all the scenarios in the game, which I have done so far with no hiccups. Of course, this is RCT1, and I just started doing sort of the more quote unquote challenging parts, but at the same time, it was Kitboga and a couple other streamers. Like, I had a class my last semester when the pandemic started and everything went down and everything went online. One of my professors streams his classes on Twitch, and it's like the coolest thing ever. So yeah, I guess that's my motivation behind doing these streams and stuff, and it adds content. Almost no coaster YouTube channels in that do original or OpenRCT2 playthroughs, so just a little bit something different, something that I'm good at and I enjoy doing. So, and I also like to document this because, like I've said in the past, I have a notebook and I have notes that I've always wrote on the different scenarios when I was playing and what worked, what didn't. But this sort of makes a video log, so I can see exactly what I was doing at what times in the scenario. I can say, well, at the middle of year two, my park looked like this, and I started building this, and I had this many guests. So this strategy works well. This one didn't work as well. Um, so this is sort of a personal project too, to kind of log what I've done and how I've played through these scenarios over the years. Bumper cars. I have two options now. I was always thinking of replacing this haunted house because it wasn't getting as many people. It is a covered ride, but I may keep it because it's still getting people even when it's not raining outside. It is performing well. I already have other covered rides, so I may find somewhere else to put bumper cars in. It's something that I definitely want to build for this scenario though, because they generally do well. And I guess I can start building the next major coaster over here because by the time I'm done with it, it'll be nearing the end of year two, and then year three, I can focus on fine tuning things. So this wooden coaster is going to be pretty short layout. I'm going to start it up here. Maybe I do one of these, wacky sort of, where I build it. I want to build right up to the edge of the scenario, because I am also going up terrain this way, so it won't be too big of a difference between the ride track and the land. Because, like, right here, I'm only, what, like, maybe 30 feet above the terrain. So this will do sort of like a twister at Knobles. It'll have two lift hills. There's a turn or something in between, or, something like that. I have a pretty cool idea here. Maybe a double down. Here's another wacky idea. I do have the loop, and I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use it. Normally, you have to research this element when you're doing wooden coasters. I haven't done one yet. And of course, it's not something that is found on many or any wooden coasters, traditional wooden coasters anymore, but I'm doing it for this scenario. And I gotta be careful here of the height of it, so 85 feet to 45. Maybe I go up there, have it dive back around here. This will be actually pretty cool. As long as I can get a good angle on it, and please don't drop frames. Yeah, I dropped a few, but the stream is still live, to my knowledge. I may have to go with one of this style here. It's going to be a very blocky looking wooden coaster, but I got to get back up to 30 feet. So actually, this will work. Yeah, ugh. Now it will work. It's going to be a very odd ending for sure. But if I can get entrance and exit over here, start testing it out just to make sure that it works. 3 trains. Oh, that's why. No, it's only going to be 2 train coaster. See how it works out. It's not pretty at all. I'm not proud of it at all, but very limited room over here. It will have a couple of cool moments, diving out over the water along the hill, has the loop in it. As long as it doesn't go through that loop too quickly. Oh, that was close. It's gonna make it though. It's gonna make it. That worked. And with people in the train, it will go through the loop, definitely a little bit faster. There should be no problems of it stalling or not making it over, considering on an empty test cycle it is, making it just around. I'll see what the stats are for this. $628. So $6 for this ride. I could have put an on-ride photo in somewhere, but I just didn't. And it didn't cost all that much money. So the name of it, Mothball. Madness, because the park's name is Mothball Mountain, I guess. Not very creative, but it's definitely the colors of this have to be changed. I'm gonna go with all brown. Looks a little bit better, not so out of place. The yellow's okay for the trains. Have like a wooden station. So now I just got to get a path over here. I should have enough clearance from there. I'll bring it down this way. So leave some room in here for something of some sorts. So I can bring down that. Bridge there. Open it up. I'm losing guests, so I'm gonna have to advertise this ride. I have the money, so I'm also gonna advertise the park for say 8 weeks. I'm in the middle of year 2. I'm 100 guests above the goal. I don't want to lose all that right away, what I've built. And I should have bumper cars too now. This, it will fit in there. I just got to do a little bit of land work. Oh no, it won't fit in there. Okay, I can build it somewhere else. I can build it like, say, right there. That'll give me queue space for it, and queue space, exit ramp. I'll call them Dodgems. Don't capitalize that. Dodgems. Why can't I spell today? Dodgems. Minutes, $3. Blue's okay. How does this look going around the loop with people in the train? It should be a bit faster. I will need some, benches and stuff. Just want to see how this does with people in the train, a full train. Still slow, so I don't know if that, if having people in the train helped it, but the big thing is it shouldn't stall or anything crazy. Add another handyman in there. Stand-up coaster. Yeah, right. Like, I probably will never build one of these unless it's, like in Magic Mountain and I'm trying to recreate Riddler's Revenge in a way, but I think the Twister stand-up trains are also a thing, so I don't see any reason why I would spring for the old school stand-up design. I don't like using them much at all, much like the suspended swinging car coaster. I am going to fast forward a bit now because I'm doing pretty good. Hovering at about 1,000 guests. Going to year 3. I'm going to need to advertise again. Not free entry to the park, I just advertise the park in general for 12 weeks. I'll do free rides on Boomerang again for 6 weeks because it has the on-ride photo to offset it. Pay off the loan. In terms of research, I got just about nothing. Okay. So, thrill ride maximum funding because not going to be building any other coasters. General rides, there was really nothing else that it gave me, so if I get the motion simulator or something, that will certainly help. So I needed 800 guests. I'm hovering between, you know, just under 1,000 to 950. Motion simulator is available, launched free fall. So the motion simulator, I dug out this space over here. It wasn't enough for the bumper cars, but it will be enough for the motion simulator. Thrill Rider film, test it out, it should get $3. Yep, this can open. I'll advertise this in the park again. Particular ride, motion simulator. Other thrill ride is going to be developed. I'm sure that like the River Rapids or something will come up next. Or a top spin. I could add a top spin to this park somewhere. How's the... Okay, people aren't going on to the end, so will they spring for $1? They will. How's this doing? Want to go on something more thrilling than that? Are the go-karts doing? Still popular. That's still popular. That's still popular. Need a couple more handymen here. Another mechanic. Full security guards. Top spin as expected. And there's really like no room. I could dig into here, and that's probably what I'm going to do. Dig into this hill and put a top spin here, just so that this end of the park is a bit more developed. Everything is very scrunched in here. And as long as people are still going on the haunted house, even if it doesn't make much money, I'm going to keep it around just because it is a rain ride. I'll only do a 4x4 block. These four are also going to get forward, so I have room for a queue line. As soon as this is complete, 9th of April, I'll turbo speed it to there. Top spin right here. Name for it, I'll call it Flip Out. Colors, I'll keep the red, but maybe I'll do orange of sorts. That looks orange, yellow, red looks okay. Zerk mode, it'll get $3. Should get $3. Yep. This one can have like the abstract entrance. Same with the motion simulator. A lot of red entrances in this game. That one, that one, that one, that one. Guess I've been using a little bit more red than I figured. You're only limited with so many colors, though. I mean, that's not just limited to the game, but that's a real life thing, you know. There are only so many colors in this world. advertising campaign. And I'll hyperspeed it again. I feel pretty good about where I'm at now. Should hold steady at about 1,000. If it's gonna hold, I'm gonna do this right till the end. All right, do another advertising campaign or a few of them here. Park for maximum. Ooh, I'm dropping now. Yeah, that's the problem with not building for a while is the advertising campaign should help out with that. So park rating is sinking. More of these. Those. One of those. Biggest complaint is probably going to be it's too crowded. Bathroom. I'll add another restroom in. Here. Add another drink stall in. Somewhere around here. Oh. Have a few more food stalls that I can add as well. Fries, maybe back here as well. Make sure that the advertising is still running as park rating is over 600, a couple over 600, so it's where it needs to be. And I'm at the end of year 3 here, so I probably can fast forward and get away with it. Oh, that happened a lot quicker than I expected. Okay. So this scenario is completed. I'll do the recap now. Ended with 982 guests, so almost 1,000, about 200 over what I needed. Park rating ended up with the food stalls and extra stuff I've added in. It went back up. The loan is fully repaid. The park is making a lot of money. And I ended up buying no land, with the exception of a couple blocks here and there where I needed to fit in a path or an edge of a ride. But other than that, I did not need to purchase any of the expensive land out here to complete this park, okay? So I started off building what I had. Right off the bat, you only get the Scrambler, Carousel, Haunted House. So I built the food stalls, built those rides. They remain popular to this day. The Haunted House is only making $1 per ticket now, but people are still going on it just because it's a cheaper ride. And also, oh, there is some vandalism in this park too, so I should have gotten on that a bit earlier. It doesn't look like too much is destroyed though. Yeah, so started out with some flat rides and some stalls to get the money rolling a bit. The first coaster I built was this pre-built Wild Mouse design, spinning Wild Mouse. Remains highly popular. It is $6 a ticket, so it's been making money the whole time. I supplemented that with some other rides, so I built a shuttle loop because it was cheap and high profiting. I put the pirate ship in when it was available. I put in go-karts when they became available. I built them mostly underground to make it a rain ride, but I wasn't able to charge as much as I had hoped. I hoped to charge about $4 or so at least. I only ended up getting $2.40 out of them, but they are still profiting, so it helps the park in terms of expanding, bringing people in, and also creating another covered ride for the rain. I then followed up. I forget the exact order of which I did things. The observation tower went in a space I created here. Um, the swinging inverter ship when it became available, the Dodgems. I also built Cheesy Mice over here, which was a small pre-built design that gets $3 a ticket, so it does make money. The Dodgems went in, and the next big coaster design before Boomerang, and I forgot about it because it's covered. There is a junior coaster under the ground. Better stats than what I was expecting. $4 per ticket. It runs 2 trains, and it's not a long layout at all. It's completely covered. The queue line has been completely full this whole time, so kind of hiding a ride. But the park currently has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 coasters in a small space, and I have almost 1,000 guests, and that total did decrease a lot. to under 1,000 because I want a long period of time of fast forwarding and not building. The last big coaster I constructed was this wooden coaster right here. I do not like the way it looks at all, but it used the land above the junior coaster, so two coasters could fit in this one space back here. Does have a loop which increases the excitement rating. Not a lot of the turns are taken at high speed, but there are some ups and downs, some interaction with pads and other things. And it is a two train coaster, so capacity is there. It is a high money maker at $6 a ticket. This ride as well, it's not a shuttle loop, but it is a shuttle coaster with a couple of hills, has the on-ride photo, so this one is also a very big profiter. And whenever I ran advertising campaigns for a free ride, I chose this ride because you can still make some money off the on-ride photo if a guest chooses to purchase that. Finally, to end off the park, I put in a couple of the thrill rides I developed: motion simulator, top spin, a couple of food stalls back here, benches and bins all along the park. Of course, increasing staff, mechanics, and entertainers, security guards as needed. Very, very small path area. It is very crowded. That is the top, by far, the top complaint in the park out of any of the parks I've done. But you have so little land, and I've fit in so many attractions here that expanding the paths really wasn't an option, except for when I put new rides in different areas of the park. The path system is pretty much just in this middle portion of the park right here. There's nothing back here really except for the entrance over here. The front of the park, there's a couple little legs that go out this way, but other than that, nothing, um, you know, nothing too complex or crazy. Overall, I don't like the way the park looks, but I did pass it with ease pretty much. It is a tougher scenario to do, but you got to definitely get creative with how you're building things to fit in enough attractions to make that 800 guest goal. I passed it with just about 200 guests over that. The park rating has been doing fine the entire scenario because I kept up on the other little issues that arose. And that about wraps it up for this scenario. So the next scenario on the list, I'm not going to start right now or anything. I have some other things to do with the website and that. Pacific Pyramids, which is virtually a very, very similar scenario to Evergreen Gardens, so it is a little bit less intense than some of the recent ones that have come up here. Mothball Mountain was a bit tough, Carts and Coasters was as well. Dinky Park was a little bit ago now, but should not be a problem at all. 4 years, 1,000 guests, same land size almost as Evergreen Gardens, same guest requirement. And then we go into Crumbly Woods, Big Pier, and some of the more challenging scenarios that come with Roller Coaster Tycoon. This is definitely, to a lot of people, the hardest scenario, or second, third hardest in the original series. Not because it's down there on the list, it's, one of the middle scenarios, but the land given is something to contend with the entire time, and money as well. So, yeah, just some final updates. As I said at the beginning of the stream, YouTube stuff will be pushed back. Not OpenRCT2 stuff, but actual YouTube videos and stuff will be pushed back to early next week, so I can get everything set up. I can make the videos look good, and also write some scripts, some things I want to talk about, and yeah, OpenRCT2 will probably return either this weekend. I won't do a stream later today because I have some plans, and the weekend's a bit up in the air. Other than that, though, I may be able to fit a stream or two in Saturday, Sunday. A lot of that time will be dedicated to um, setting up the YouTube. And then, from there on, the OpenRCT2 stuff will become a regular 2 to 3 times per week streaming probably, and then YouTube videos on the off days. There between the website, the YouTube, and Twitch, there really shouldn't be an off day for the brand. Maybe one here or there, but something will be developed just about every single day. So other than that, thank you for watching if you have. As usual, this stream will be up on YouTube within the next day. I gotta see if I did the one last night, if I put Mel's World up yet. I think I did, but sometimes I hold off to the next day, just so I can go through it really quick and make sure that there's no bugs. But thank you for watching. We are on Facebook, YouTube, website amusementmemorabilia.com. Just search that name, Amusement Memorabilia, for any of the social media or other stuff, and you will find us. We should come up. And check out the website. Probably between today, tomorrow, another blog post or something will go live. And by early next week, there will be much more content at the ready. So thank you again. Have a great rest of your day, great weekend if I don't stream for some reason or I'm not on as much. And Yeah, we'll keep plugging away at these scenarios. Thank you again.